With just a steel cable turnbuckle and a magnet, you can create an incredibly clever trick that many people have never even thought of. A steel cable turnbuckle and a magnet seem like two completely unrelated items. But when these two are combined, they can create a compact yet extremely versatile tool. For now, I'll set the turnbuckle and magnet aside. Next, I'll prepare a fairly effective cleaning mixture using WD-40. This mixture will help remove metal dust, grease, and even light rust that remains on the surface. Next, I'll add a little toothpaste to the mixture. Thanks to the fine abrasive particles inside it, the toothpaste will help improve the cleaning ability. After that, I'll add a little baking soda to the mixture. After adding all the ingredients, I'll mix the mixture thoroughly. Just stir it gently for a few seconds, and the ingredients will blend together, forming a moderately thick paste. Since this mixture contains WD-40, I'll close the lid after mixing. Doing so helps reduce the solvent from evaporating. Going back to the steel cable turnbuckle, first I'll unscrew both threaded ends from the body to separate the parts. Next, I'll mark a position on the body of the turnbuckle. This mark will be the point where I cut off one threaded end. I'll use a cutting tool to remove the marked section. By simply cutting along the line I marked earlier, the threaded end can be separated from the turnbuckle body quite neatly. For the remaining threaded end, I'll use a round eye type instead of the hook type. This style is neater and also more convenient for attaching additional parts in the next step. Next, I'll prepare a small wooden board with a length of about 20 centimeters. This piece of wood will be used as the base to mount the parts and keep everything stable. I place the two ends of the turnbuckle on the wooden board, then use a marker to mark the positions of these 2 points. After marking the positions, I'll use a drill to make 2 holes right at the marked points on the wooden board. These holes will help secure the turnbuckle to the wooden surface more firmly and accurately. After that, I place the 2 ends of the turnbuckle into the drilled holes and apply a small amount of super glue to hold them temporarily. Next, I sprinkle a little baking soda on top. When the baking soda comes into contact with the super glue, it quickly hardens and forms a very strong bond, helping secure the turnbuckle firmly to the wooden board. When the baking soda comes into contact with the super glue, the reaction happens almost instantly. The mixture quickly hardens and forms a plastic-like material that firmly adheres to both the metal and the wooden surface. Next, I'll prepare a small piece of wood and drill a small hole at one end. This hole will allow the part to be attached more easily in the next step. Here I have a broken clothes hanger, but instead of throwing it away, I'm going to reuse part of it. I'll cut off the hook end along with a straight section of the wire to use in the next step. I'll insert the piece I just cut into the hole drilled in the small wooden block, then secure it in place using super glue and baking soda as well. I prepared 2 types of sandpaper, a coarse one for surfaces that need heavier sanding, and a fine one for finishing and making the surface smoother. Now I'll place the sandpaper on this wooden block to measure it, so the size fits the surface I need to use. Once it's properly aligned, I'll use scissors to cut the sandpaper to that size, so that when it's attached to the wood, it will sit neatly without excess on the sides. After cutting the sandpaper to the correct size, I'll use super glue to attach it to the surface of the wooden block. In just a few seconds, the glue dries and holds the sandpaper firmly in place, creating a simple yet very practical sanding surface. The hook end can be attached directly to the round eye of the turnbuckle. Thanks to its curved shape once connected, the hook can rotate and move quite flexibly in different directions, making it easier to work with. In addition, this round eye end can also be adjusted by turning it up or down along the threads of the turnbuckle. This allows the distance and tension to be changed quite easily. Next, I'll attach a magnet to this wooden board. I apply a small amount of hot glue to the chosen spot, then place the magnet on top and hold it in place for a few seconds so the glue can secure it firmly. That completes the preparation. Now I'll use this tool to try sharpening this dull blade. Before sharpening, I'll quickly check the sharpness of the blade by trying to cut a sheet of paper. However, when the blade touches the paper, it barely cuts and only causes the paper to fold and wrinkle. This shows that the blade is quite dull and needs to be sharpened. Additionally, there are some light rust spots on the surface of the blade, which I will also clean off after sharpening. The magnet attached to the wooden board helps hold the knife in place during sharpening. When the blade is placed on it, the magnetic force grips the metal body of the knife, preventing it from slipping or shifting. Additionally, the height of the blade can be adjusted quite easily by using 2 magnets. When an extra magnet is stacked on top, the height of the support point increases slightly. I'll start sharpening with the coarse sandpaper. This type of sandpaper will help remove the dull edge of the blade more quickly and restore the initial cutting edge. During the sharpening process, I keep the blade at an angle of about 15 to 20 degrees relative to the sandpaper surface. This is a common sharpening angle for many types of knives because it creates a sharp cutting edge while still maintaining good durability. Thanks to the magnetic holder and the adjustable turnbuckle, the height can be set to help maintain a stable sharpening angle. I also spray a little water onto the surface of the sandpaper. This layer of water helps reduce friction and cool the blade, while also washing away the tiny metal particles produced during sharpening. After a quick pass with the coarse sandpaper, the edge of the blade begins to change noticeably. The cutting edge becomes more even, and most of the previously dull areas have been removed. Although it's not completely sharp yet, the edge has been reformed and is ready for the next finishing step with fine sandpaper. Now I'll switch to the fine sandpaper. After completing the sharpening steps, the edge of the blade has become much sharper and more even compared to the beginning. The cutting edge now looks cleaner, and the surface of the blade is smoother thanks to the fine sandpaper finishing step. Even at a glance, you can see that the blade's sharpness has been restored quite well. Now that the sharpening is complete, I'll move on to cleaning the surface of the blade. Next, I apply a layer of the cleaning mixture over the entire surface of the blade. Then I use fine sandpaper to gently rub the surface of the blade. As I move the sandpaper back and forth, it helps remove light rust, stains, and small scratches while gradually polishing the metal surface. After that, I use a piece of paper towel to wipe the blade clean. The towel removes the remaining cleaning mixture along with the loosened dirt and metal residue, leaving the surface of the knife looking much cleaner and brighter. Now I'll test the blade again by cutting the same sheet of paper. This time, the knife slices through the paper smoothly and easily without folding it, showing that the edge has become much sharper after sharpening. Looking closely at the edge now, it appears much cleaner and more refined. The cutting edge forms a thin, even line along the blade, and the surface looks smoother and more polished than before. Overall, the blade has regained a sharp and well-balanced edge. I'll try slicing a tomato to see how sharp the blade is. The knife glides through the tomatoes smoothly, producing very thin and clean slices without crushing the soft flesh. Each slice comes out neat and even, showing just how sharp the blade has become. The result is quite impressive. With a simple setup using a turnbuckle, magnet, and sandpaper, The blade can be sharpened effectively and restored to a very sharp edge. It's a compact, practical, and surprisingly precise DIY tool that works really well. This simple DIY setup turns out to be a very useful sharpening tool. With a few easy-to-find materials and a bit of assembly, you can create a compact system that helps maintain a stable sharpening angle and restore dull blades effectively. It's a practical trick that anyone can try at home, especially if you enjoy making and improving your own tools.